in one of the states, it becomes non-replicable. And in case we want to, and in case we have to, and obviously there is absolutely no way that we can avoid this, in case we want a faster progress across the nation, it is imperative the structures be defined centrally, implementation locally. There are also, if you look at the society, even today and in 2020, it still will be divided in two parts. The one who are looking for still food, employment, and shelter, the basic necessities that we are talking about. Then there are other ones who are actually looking at right to information, utility payment portal, digitized land record. So there is a society which is well versed with technology, which is also comparably richer. If you look at a common man who is looking at those facilities for food, employment, shelter, he doesn't even think about right to information, digitized land records. In fact, he doesn't have a land. So where is the question of looking for a land record? So I think we need to address as a government these two things without mixing them up as separate, and it's not necessary that ICT may be a solution to the last man when we are looking food, employment, and shelter. We should be very clear as to which are the areas where the ICT is going to be part of the last delivery. But here the question is now, how do we look at the whole framework of idea management and we said two-way communication, the ideas and the inputs coming from the common man? What I would like to point out here, there has to be, when there is a two-way communication, an idea management framework. I think all of you are well versed with the business processes, and obviously if idea will go through idea generation, idea evaluation, implementation, monitoring, and widespread integration, which may be within the state or across many states. This framework not only needs to come up right from the top nationally, but needs to get integrated right into the every fabric of society to the end. What I have done is for each one of this, I have given the current status and the desired status in terms of idea generation, idea evaluation, implementation and monitoring, and widespread integration. And if I go along in each one of them, it will take a little bit of time. But let me give you a gist of this. There is a large, big society of young people with great ideas. Have we provided as a government a communication media that these ideas can be taken up from the bottoms up to the top up? And every idea goes through a structured process of evaluation, synthesis, leading it to either rejection or acceptance. And if accepted, how is this idea then taken to implementation? Also important in all that I have said is to make sure that the people who are generating these ideas are continuously being informed, and therefore, in an idea generation or idea management network, we need to incorporate all this. What I will do now is, I think it's been discussed earlier also in many areas, especially when we talk about idea capture, idea implementation, evaluation, and so on. One of the examples people can talk about is the social media. I will not go into the statistics, but what is important here is when you create a Facebook-like or a social media for idea generation, anybody will be able to write anything, but possibly in a structured manner. You don't want that. Therefore, there has to be an authentication process, and what China has done is China has adopted their own people who can log in at the ID. So therefore, person who is generating an idea is identified in terms of authentication. So I think this is a China's example. There are many examples. There is a USA experience, Egypt experience, and so on. But I think there is a case for India to adopt this in terms of a repository of ideas, because the ideas will finally be able to take you there. We may have use the same site, or we develop new sites only for the e-governance. It's something a matter as we go along, we should be able to get maturity. Anyway, the Aadhaar project is already on in terms of the UID, and I think as we go along on the UID project, if we can also integrate that, and we should be able to take leverage this methodology for better translation into practices. We need to be, when we create this structure or platform, it needs to be a common open source with the capability of transforming itself in a multilingual basis to the people who require. And it should also be available at kiosks and panchayats so that we connect it to the last man. Today, we are exchanging ideas what e-governance is. And mind you guys, I would like to ask a question to the organizers. Have we got a common man? I think for all such meetings that we have, all such seminars that we organize, there are rural bodies and actually some representatives of them should be part of these meetings. And that will start a two-way exchange. And many of the ideas, actually the thinking that we have now that we are sitting here, we understand, we know what the common man wants. And mind you guys, we may be wrong. And therefore, I think there is a requirement of contribution of these people as we go along. To sum up, by 2020, we'll have 65% population under 35 years of age with a lot of potential. All these guys will be full of ideas, and if we do not systematically capture, synthesize them, and harness these advantages, we should possibly miss. Second thing, although a lot of projects have been rolled out in e-governance area, and we look at all the states, especially Gujarat, we've gone far ahead, but I think there is a lot that seems to be still to be done to make sure there is inclusive growth, and a lot has been discussed on this. Idea generation and overall framework for idea generation is a two-way communication, needs to be incorporated, implemented in letter and spirit, and that is what will take us to the next level. And large-scale social platforms for creating and synthesizing ideas will be extremely essential as we go along. And, but not the least, we are talking all this in 2011. We believe, based on whatever information we have and technology understanding we have, that this is what will happen in 2020. And we may be going all wrong, because we also did not know 10 years back what the Facebook will be today. So as we go along, we need to make sure our systems are agile, responsive, and capturing that information so that though we have a line in which we have to go, simultaneously, we should also have the capability to be agile enough to deviate or take a route where the technology and the environment is taking tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Naveen. That was wonderful.